Come closer to your screen. That's right. Come on. I want to tell you a story today. It's about President Biden and what the Biden administration is about to do that could change everything around the way that we invest and make money. We need to talk about President Biden. We need to talk about Janet Yellen. We need to talk about Jerome Powell and how all three of these individuals right now, representing various institutions within the government and our financial system, can and will impact the way we live, the way we do business, our incomes, our portfolios in the next 2 to 3 years, perhaps even the long term. I like to think that this is one of the most important videos I've ever put together. And so you can see exactly what I'm investing in right now and how it can help you. Because I got to tell you, it feels like we're playing 4D chess. You remember like in Star Trek? Actually, we are playing 4D chess. You know, and I don't want to frighten you. I don't want to scare you. But right now, the U.S. national debt, which is the amount of money that Washington owes its lenders, is unsustainable. It can't be repaid at all. There's no way. Okay, I want to show you. Look at this. Take a look at the national debt clock. And then you get my point. There's just no way we can ever repay this. So you can see how the national debt stands at $28 trillion. Now, your jaw will drop because if you go and watch this in real time, you're going to see it rising by millions of dollars a minute if you watch the national debt clock. Washington is spending money to oblivion. And if we divide this debt by citizen, every new baby that comes into this world owes $85,000 and is circled in blue here. Or by taxpayer, each of you owes $224,000. Obviously, this is a Houston, we have a problem scenario. In order to fund Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, defense budget, interest payments on the debt alone, which cost more than $1 billion a day, the government must bring in more revenues. How are they going to do it? More taxes. Where are they going to get it? Because this is even before we calculate stimulus checks and potentially universal basic income, UBI. Well, guess what? Jerome Powell is over there talking about government needing to help everyone get back on their feet. Janet Yellen has even proposed a new global wealth tax on corporations, which the Asians will never agree to. And Biden is pushing for raising corporate taxes to 28%, which many people argue could hurt America's standing and competitive advantage around the world. So maybe that won't happen. Certainly not before the midterm elections anyway. When politicians look at the only viable, easy, fast, bipartisan solution for getting more tax revenues into the system, you know what they see right now is the biggest slam dunk for the federal government and the individual states? Go on. Do you have any idea? Look at the bottom of your screen right now. Most countries around the world have not seen as many COVID deaths as this. Cannabis saves lives. The medical community is falling in love with it, and wherever it's recreational cannabis is legal, there has been a reduction in crime, the development of amazing retail businesses, and education about this plant. Federal legalization of cannabis is such a major business right now, an investment opportunity, that I can equate it to the mass adoption we're seeing right now in Bitcoin, where Elon Musk, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, the list goes on, they're all accepting payments now. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. Legalizing cannabis creates jobs. It lowers the congestion in the prisons. It frees up the police to handle other issues and closes the insane national debt. It's a no-brainer for politicians because surveys show blue and red states are all in favor of it. Look at what Portugal did. The country of Portugal is now the third safest country in the world. You know why? They eliminated drug crime. You don't get arrested. Police don't arrest people for minor bags of marijuana anymore. And it totally changed that country. A record number of Americans are in favor, including respected scientists, medical experts, business leaders from Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal, all kinds of money managers, you name it. The investment opportunity is a massive move right now. Okay, so what did I do, you ask? Well, I went ahead and heavily researched what is the best thing that I could do to get involved immediately, because I already missed many years of getting into this, and I wish that I hadn't. Number one, diversification. It's basic in business, and I found a company making dozens of products already, generating millions of dollars in revenue, both in cannabis and in consumer packaged goods. In other words, it's both a cannabis company and a traditional retail brand manufacturer, both. Why has the price of Bitcoin gone from 1 penny to over $60,000, creating a whole new class of millionaires and billionaires? What is it that makes Bitcoin so valuable? Well, the answer is that it's scarce. There's a finite supply of it, not like the US dollar, which we can keep printing. With Bitcoin, you can't. So if you want, you must fight for it, and you have to bid for it in order to get Bitcoin. So do you know right now what's the most important finite resource on this planet? Let me show you. It's water. Remember Kamala Harris the other day? We featured her here on my show when she said that the next wars in the world will not be fought over oil, they will be fought over water.
You know, for years and generations, wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over water.
With 9 billion people and growing, and only about 2% of the water is worthy of drinking in the first place, owning your own aquifer, owning your own pristine mineral water source, as this company does, is extremely valuable from their Trace brand of water, their Trace brand of alkaline water. In fact, last week, this is what got me so excited, because the management just announced that it's now expanding to the Asia Pacific market, where 21% of the human population lives. Think about that, because North America is only 5%. This company owns this massive 40,000 square foot facility, already licensed to produce cannabis products and its own general products. It owns its own water source. It's now expanding into Asia as we speak. And the company is called BVNNF Enterprises. So here's the symbol. Here it is on your screen. So here's another little question for you. Do you know how the anaconda hunts? Have you ever seen that movie? Have you ever seen that, the action movie, The Anaconda? It just waits. It has patience. It's not in a rush. In fact, it lurks on the riverbed, tucked away, not making any kind of moves, not making a sound, just observing, watching. It watches as many small fry prey, which otherwise would be deemed as nutritional, just pass it by, doesn't attack it, leaves it. Even though it's hungry and it needs to eat, it just lets all these little like piddly, prey go by. It conserves its energies. And then it waits for the big kill. Do you see that BVNNF's price chart right now? Look at the stock price. The stock is down 50% since mid-February. In 2 months, its price has come down and is discounted by 50%. So I waited, but now every fiber of my being is screaming, attack. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Zuckerberg, they've reached massive heights because they focused on what they know best, and they built competitive advantages so large that it's nearly impossible to replicate and even compete with them. BVNNF had to get its facility approved by Health Canada, the equivalent of FDA in Canada. If someone else wants to do that today to get his facility approved for cannabis products because he sees where the puck is going, it would take about 3 to 5 years to get all of the permitting done. They've already got this huge, massive competitive advantage on top of all of this ownership of the world's most limited and finite resource, which is water. Next, it has something that I personally cherish, and that is the following: exclusivity. When a business secures exclusive rights to something, that's super valuable. So when Netflix bought this exclusive airing, the rights for Seinfeld from Sony, they paid $160 million a year. Well, in the cannabis space, Keef Brands is the equivalent of Seinfeld. It is a hit in the United States, and the exclusive distribution rights in Canada belong now to BVNNF exclusively. You want Keef Brands? Well, BVNNF is the only way to get it into your shelves in Canada. This company just gets better and better. For now, Wall Street seems completely blind to it. So now there's a window of opportunity, and who knows how long it's going to last, a few days, a few weeks, where the price of the stock is 50% below where it was just 60 days ago. Now, I've seen what cannabis companies whose products catch fire can do. This one went from 13 cents to $1.02 in 2 weeks. That's like turning $10,000 into $78,000 in 14 days. This one went from less than $2 to over $8 in less than a year's time. These companies begin to report steady growth and revenues, and Wall Street starts paying attention. The trick is to get to paying attention before they do. And right now, BVNNF is before. It's potentially here. This chart is when it happens. When Wall Street notices you're onto something, the chart barely moves, and then all of a sudden, rocket ship. This one went from $2.50 to over $200 a share. Enough to take your $1,400 stimulus check and turn it into $100,000. Now, I'm not saying that's what BVNNF is headed to. I'm just saying the writing is on the wall. By the way, their US symbol, if you want to invest, is BVNNF. And you can use any of these major brokerages to do it, like E-Trade is the one that I use. My point is that it owns a scarce commodity, water. It owns a manufacturing facility which can produce millions of products on an annual basis, both cannabis and consumer packaged goods, a rare competitive advantage that puts it 3 to 5 years ahead of any competitor. Companies fight for a one-day advantage. This is a 5-year advantage. Its stock is down by 50%. And we waited like anacondas. And then suddenly it signs this massive exclusive rights agreement with winning brands in the United States. And all of this as they're now expanding into Asia as we speak. This is the only one I'm personally bullish on, and I like it so much that I invited their CEO to speak tomorrow on our live show. Let me tell you something. If you're listening, Mr. President Biden, if you're listening, cannabis legalization makes total sense. It makes sense for businesses, consumers, scientists, the government, the governors, and for BevCanna and its shareholders. A huge upside. So again, I'll have a link below in the description. You can check out that symbol, do your research on it, and see if it's a fit for you. Join us tomorrow morning on our live show at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be joined by the CEO to dive deeper into their products and learn more about the company so you can even do more homework on it. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time right here live.